And the mechanics of standing around Stalin at the funeral and trying to pass the message on, and you trying to swap with Malenkov and things like that.
And all of the meetings that we had too, all of the Politburo meetings.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
It was really helpful to do that, and because when I've seen the film a few times now, and it does have this improvisational feel.
Yeah.
It was all scripted, but once you get to know your characters and everybody else's character, I never thought I would be able to improvise as Khrushchev, but then you don't think I was thinking I was Khrushchev all the time. I was just this guy who was trying to get a word in, or trying to...
It's when you took your shoe off and started.
Well, I have a question for Jason. It's related to the fact that before this, you guys worked together on Armageddon of all things. And I wonder if you could, how does Armando compare to Michael Bay?
Very, very similar, oddly. I had a flashback almost all the time. Michael's a little bit calmer.
There's a line in Veep, which is, this thing's going to blow up faster than a gas station in a Michael Bay movie.
One of the things that struck me is this idea that in a film that's this, the script is so important. I can't help but wonder, when it comes to the word improvisation, it seems like that's more in terms of movement and choreography than it is actual dialogue. Is that fair to say?
Well, it's all about, yes, we work really hard on the script, and then I think part of my job is in the shoot to, we work hard writing it, but part of the point of the shoot is to try and make it not look as if it's written. Do you know what I mean? So it's trying to bury the writtenness of it, and sometimes that's to do with just asking everyone to stick to the lines, but overlap each other, or just say them in whichever order seems more natural. Other times it's really raw. It's like the trial scene at the end. I wanted that to be very, very feral and animalistic, really. And so we didn't rehearse that at all. Everyone had their script, and I knew everyone had learned it. And I said, just go into the room and get it done in 2 minutes, and just plow through it. Order people around. They're all expecting you. We've got cameras in there, but just get it done. Because I knew that in the film, that's what I wanted at that point. This thing, 1 minute he's alive, next minute he's dead, and everyone is sort of taken aback by the speed in which it happens. And I thought the only way to do it was to do it. But other times, I remember with Khrushchev, because he talks a lot, I remember I gave you sort of longer sentences that no one else knew. And I just told everyone else to just shut him up. But if they didn't shut you up, at least you had something else to say. Things like that, just to get it feeling a bit more natural. But,
well, how much, for both of you, how much did the not just the makeup, but the costumes and just the sense, how much did the presence of actually being there change the way that you saw your character?
For me, enormously, because I wasn't there at rehearsals because I'm not there in those Politburo scenes, and so I knew I was coming into this ensemble of these phenomenal kind of actors and comedy gods. And I was a little bit nervous about it. And I looked online about if Andrea Riseborough was here, she would tell you she read weighty tomes. I just glanced at the Wikipedia page and barely skim-read what it said about him. It said he was the only person that Stalin was a little bit fearful of. He could say what he liked to anybody. But it was a photograph she got, standing there, puffing his chest out. I mean, just standing, kind of pursing his lips like, you know who, and wearing 1,000 medals. I mean, more medals than we can fit on there because he had a big chest to me. And so I went to do costume fitting and I said, "Could you give me a big chest?" And they went, "Well, you have to go down to the gym." And I went, "No, I mean, really." And I'm not kidding. And they stuffed it. And I said, "More." And they stuffed it more. And I went full Pam Ransom on it. And then my arms looked like noodles. I said, "Could you stuff the arms?" I would strap this thing on, and suddenly there was this big bull of a man there who kind of cuts the sway through. So the costume was a huge help to me.
And for your costume, especially the fact that the waist, the high waistband, everything, does that change?
And shaving my head and being
and the nose plugs.
Yes. We won't give anyway makeup secrets. I was in the makeup chair for 3 hours a day.
I love your long coats, the Khrushchev's coats, they were great.
Yeah, but all that helps, it's like you do it and you look at yourself in the mirror and you feel like a different person, and it really does inform like who this guy is. You know, I mean, not the whole character, but it certainly helps when you have, when you look like the character that you're playing. And even on other films, sometimes I don't really find the character until I have the wardrobe, and then I can look in the mirror and go, oh, I know who this guy is.
Well, you're standing in the set. Acting is a pretty simple job. It's just sometimes tricky to do. You have to trick your imagination to think you are this thing, just like kids do in that go. So anything helps. What helps is a great script. The other actors being fantastic, and you believe the scene. You think, shit, they feel like they're Russians in 1950, and it really helps you because you feel like you're in a different situation. So whether it's the set or the shoes or, it doesn't matter what it is. It's anything that tricks you.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you guys, the cast is from so many different backgrounds, the theater, comedy, and TV. It's just a spectrum of backgrounds, and you can even hear it just in the diversity of accents. And I think that it's funny because in reading up before tonight, I found that a lot of people really hung up on the accents, and I found that your explanation makes total sense in that it's preserving a rhythm of language and representing a diversity of people. But how does that how does the fact that, for example, that Simon Beale is not normally an improviser, or how does the fact that you're working with so many people with different
well, I said to them, it's not improvising. It's not about, and just to go back to it, it wasn't really a heavily improvised thing at all. And I just said, when we do kind of go off script, it's not about trying to come up with beautifully written funny stuff. I said there's writers there for that. It's more just staying in character, so therefore responding naturally to what happens. So sometimes and from that experience you might just get a look or something like that. When with Svetlana, when you said to Svetlana, I'll be there to look after you, and she just goes, like, that was just playing around just to see what would come out, and you get a little look, and so which isn't on the page. It's about that really, and the accent thing was, it was the Soviet Union was a massive empire, and these people were from all sorts of backgrounds. They weren't all from Russia. Stalin, Beria were from Georgia, Khrushchev was Ukraine. So, there would have been lots of accents and dialects and languages spoken in the Kremlin at the time, and they were from all sorts of different. Khrushchev was paranoid that they were laughing at him, that he didn't go to university, he wasn't learned, whereas some of them were a bit more intellectual and so on. He was paranoid about that. So all these different, and the only thing they had in common was they worked for Stalin and were still alive. After 20 or 30 years, they were still there. That's what they had in common.
I wonder, there are certain scenes that play out differently when you rewatch them, and I wonder, for you, when you're setting them up, both as actors who actually have to do the work of acting out these roles, and as the writer and director, how do you know when a joke is landing and when you need to fix it? Like, for example, this is probably an unfortunate example, but the scene with Stalin's corpse well, it's not his corpse yet, but his body and the urine on the carpet.
Yeah.
How much is too much pee, basically?
I don't know, really. That's interesting to think about it. I mean, that's what the edit is there for as well. And at least you could try. The shoot, it's always better to do too much because then you can take stuff out in the edit. The worst thing is to do too little in the shoot because you can't put it in the edit. So at least you have that safety. And I knew I had a good long time in the edit, 5 months, because I wanted to get the tone absolutely right, the balance between the comedy and the tragedy, really, the seriousness and the absurdity, and that sometimes involved taking some jokes out because they didn't feel like they helped, they kind of punctured the scene rather than assisted the scene. Other times it involved taking some really graphic stuff out because I felt that was too much too soon and it gave us nowhere to go. And that's what the edit is there for, as well as the preparation and script.
If you ask how do you know the joke's right or landing? look away, cover your ears. He's got funny bones. He's been doing it for decades, and he knows where the joke is, because if you look back at his long catalogue of great comedy work, some people have funny bones, some people have, funny antenna, and other people don't.
Some people have funny knees.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have to wrap up, but thank you so much, guys.
Oh,
This was wonderful.
okay, well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks.